book the 29th off work.
Yeah.
Because this guy very well could be the next Roy Halladay for the Blue Jays. Hello, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I am your host, Nicholas Palaylog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle, and today we're going to show you the top 5 things to look for in the Blue Jays 2020 season. Before we get into that, make sure that you hit that notification button and subscribe to YouTube. And if you're listening on any other podcast platforms, make sure to subscribe and follow to us. All right. So, Blue Jays top 5 and things to look for in 2020. Nick, what is number 1 on this list?
Okay. Wow. Boys and girls, I am tired. Me and Adam just worked a long shift and just got back, and it is late at night. But you know what's keeping me up? What's keeping me up at night? What's making my dreams really dark is where in the heck are the Blue Jays going to play, dude? I don't even know where these guys are going to play. Like, we just got reports today literally saying that Pittsburgh has denied them. Like, we're not going to be playing in Pittsburgh. Okay, we're not going to be playing in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Well, opening day is tomorrow. Yeah. That's opening day. Where are we going to play?
And, like, we need to have a home field by the 29th. So,
and ideally, it'd be nice if, like, we could, like, I don't want to wake up on the morning of the 29th and be like, okay, so, like, there might be a game today, but
there will definitely be a game today. Without a question, the Blue Jays are definitely going to be playing their quote-unquote home games. It all depends on where. So, right now, there's reports, of course, of still Camden Yards in Baltimore being one of the home fields for us, which I would definitely prefer because the next best option is a AAA option, which is Buffalo. And there's a lot of infrastructure things that aren't up to major league standards, like lights and clubhouses. And the last option that they have that is kind of being tossed around is playing our home games in other ballparks, meaning we're going to have a 60-game road trip, basically.
Yeah, and realistically, bro, it's like, the way that I look at this is all just bad. Like, we're not, like, obviously we're missing out on the ideal situation playing on our home ballpark. Although I think that the best opportunity now for these guys is let's get some security. Let's learn what the ballpark is sooner rather than later. And so you actually just said something, and I was like, like you were like, well, they're definitely going to play on the 29th. And I was like, yeah, so when do you think, what day do they need to have the ballpark finalized by for them to have a home game?
Well, it all depends on what kind of ballpark. If you're talking about Camden Yards, you know, you can get the clubhouse ready in a day or two. You know, I don't know what the exact, you know, things you need to be ready, whether it's like get them like their homes and get everything arranged. But if you're talking Buffalo, you need time. Because it's not even ready for major league games.
No, it's not ready.
So it all depends what you're talking about.
But realistically, like, we think that these guys need to find a home within what, the next 3-4 days?
Next 3-4 days, find a home, and like I'm sure they have a whole team working on that, the whole front office working on that. So that's something to look out for, like in the next 15 games or whatever, or first week. Well, because we need to figure out where we're gonna play, because it will affect their play.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, bro. Is like I always try to put it in perspective, you know. Yes, it's just a ballpark. Yes, it doesn't really matter. But this is also, like, these guys are human beings, you know, and human beings like routine. Human beings like to have a place that it's like, this is our place.
And it's like also like your family. Your family's waiting, okay, where are we going?
Where are we going right now? Like, I don't know where we're going. What's happening, right? Yeah. So to think that all of this drama is not going to play a part in, you know, their play on the field, I think is pretty ignorant, you know. The more that this happens, the more problems that we have with this, the more that I worry that this is going to affect the guys when they enter the field, which I don't want to have happen. And
I should hope that the guys kind of leave what's, you know, happening in the world aside, and they focus on playing ball. You know, like, I hope, like, it takes a strong-willed superstar to try and do that. If we're trying to be superstars in Toronto, then we gotta take this as a challenge.
Yeah, I think that this is really going to test the chemistry and the camaraderie that is in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to, implore that from MLB and from the Blue Jays themselves, the management, make it easier on the players. Figure it out and get it done as soon as possible, because I don't want to see them coming into the season and because they're all up in their heads about where we're playing, what we're doing, in the first 20 games, we lose 15 of those because we're just all over the place, right? Because that's going to impact our season for the whole year.
Yeah, exactly. We want to certainly make sure that we find that home ballpark and get that done right away. Mm-hmm. Okay? All right. Shall we move on to number 2?
Yeah, let's tell us. Introduce it, pal.
All right. Number 2. Ken Giles. Are we going to trade him? Are we going to keep him? Are we going to sign him? What is it going to be? What do you think?
I think it's going to be what I just said. I think it's going to depend on the first 20 games of the season. I think that in those first 20 games, if the Blue Jays are competing, if they are looking like a team that can be reckoned with, if they have a positive record, all of these things are going to come into play in those first 20 games when we're deciding, do we want to buy in this season or do we want to sell out? If we go, like I said, 5-15, Ken Giles is going.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah, absolutely.
But if we go 15-5, then
because going into the season, it's like pretty much anyone is already determined. Ken Giles is going. Mm-hmm. Ken Giles is going to be traded at the deadline, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But that's the question in the shortened season. If we're 15-5, what do you do? And that's the question. That's something that you got to look for. Are we going to sell him? Are we not? If
what
we
do
do
you
sell
think?
him, well, like exactly that. If we go 15-5, we should probably keep this guy.
I would keep him, bro.
Especially if people on the team are blowing up. You got to look at the team exactly. Like, are we getting great? Are we getting great starts by our pitchers? Are we getting great help in the bullpen? Are our players doing well on the field? Mm-hmm. If it's all luck. I don't know, but if you can clearly see there's something magical happening in Toronto, then we should keep him.
Even if, maybe we're looking at this team and, we're not loving the wins, but we're still 15-5. Mm-hmm. From my perspective, I'm thinking, like, if I want to spark something in my team, if I want to instill confidence, the last thing I want to do is sell out when I'm 15-5. Like, if we go 15-5, I'm saying, like, keep this man and propel forward,
exactly, absolutely. So that's something that we got to touch on in the later episodes.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be having a video specific
on Ken Giles. Is it time? Around the trade deadline.
Yeah, maybe roughly around we can touch on this. 20 games in, talk about like where we're at 20 games from now, and see because I think that to me is going to be that's 1/3 into the year. Mm-hmm. We're going to get a sense as to what these Blue Jays are and what they want to accomplish in this 2020 season, and I praying to God that they're 15-5.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So, in order to be 15-5, we got to get contributions from all over the place. So, there's one giant question mark.
Hernandez. Sorry, what?
Yes, Hernandez. That guy too. That's a whole other episode. But we need contributions from the fifth spot in our rotation, which has been kind of up in the air. That's number 3 on our list. His third thing to look out for is who's going to secure that fifth spot in the starting rotation. Nick, thoughts?
Man, I actually at this point, I have no idea. I think that the optimist in me, the Blue Jays fan, the guy that's like, this is the guy. I want it to be Nate Pearson.
Yeah, I think everybody
want
does.
It to be Nate Pearson, bro. And because I don't know if you guys know this yet, but it was July 29th, right? That's the day he's coming up? That's going to be, we're bringing him up? Yeah, so they're going to do what we expected that they were going to do, and they're going to keep him down for a week, but then we're going to bring him up in July 29th, so that's cool. Mm-hmm. But we also got a lot of other guys that could, maybe fill in at this rotation.
You got Thornton, right? Everyone knows about Thornton. You got Baraki, who had Tommy John all last year.
Hey, Thornton had a good outing today, eh?
Yeah, Thornton did have a good outing against Boston today. It got rain delayed, and he actually got replaced by Yamaguchi in the fourth, which is actually the third guy. Yamaguchi might be fighting for that role, or I feel like he's more, like we talked about, being more of a long-term, like a long reliever. But honestly, it's like Thornton, Baraki, Yamaguchi, and Pearson. So, just to also make note of that, we also don't have our fourth man, which is Chase Anderson. He's injured out with an oblique strain.
Yeah, and we were trying our best to look online, but sadly Google has not done its job, and we actually don't really know when this guy's coming back. It looks minor.
All the reports are just day-to-day. That's all the reports.
It definitely looks minor. I would expect Chase Anderson to be back
in the rotation. They paid this guy money.
Very, very soon. So we are definitely looking for a fifth pitcher. I mean...
There's going to be an audition or a tryout for that, because we're going to have a fourth and fifth kind of cycle in, so you're going to have Thornton, you're going to have Baraki. You might even see a sixth, honestly. You might even see a sixth when Pearson and Yamaguchi. It all depends on how the games roll out.
I got to say, dude, like, I've been liking how Baraki's been showing up in spring training.
Very good.
But I also really did like how Thornton was pitching today against the Boston Red Sox. Anytime that you hold that Boston Red Sox lineup, even though it was for short, like three innings or whatever. But he was pitching well. He was, I was watching. I was like, that was a great pitch right there. He
was painting the edges like a painter.
Yeah, he was, dude. He was honestly he was pitching very similarly to like a Hyunjin Ryu right now.
Yeah,
like
really painting the edges with the slow stuff.
Yeah, literally and getting them swinging, bro. And like he definitely looked good. If he continues on that trend, sign me up, bro. Because I was all over him tonight, and I definitely am not a giant Trent Thornton enthusiast, but I can buy in on what I saw today.
Hey, 4 guys auditioning for one role, you better step up the competition because it's gonna get heated.
Yeah, no,
especially with top prospect Nate Pearson.
Agreed. And
speaking of Nate Pearson,
well, for me, that's number 4.
Yeah,
that's number 4 on the things to look out for. Number 4 on the things to look out for. That's really cool. That was not planned, but it is gonna be Nate freaking Pearson, our number 1 big prospect that has been heralded by the analysts all over the place as just being an absolute ace of a flamethrower, gonna be elite one day. This kid's gonna come up this season. He's gonna come up.
He's coming up on the 29th. You got to be looking out for that July 29th debut. He's in whatever ballpark we're gonna be in.
yeah, we don't even know, man.
But he's gonna be facing off against the Washington Nationals, which is gonna be a tough lineup to face. But you know what? It's gonna be a challenge for the kid. He's already faced Boston. Got roughed up in that first inning.
Well, and I watched that whole game. I watched that Boston game, and I'm gonna be honest. Like that first inning, Pearson came out. This was yesterday, the Boston game, the exhibition. Mm-hmm. Pearson came out. He struck out Benintendi. We loved it. We were super happy about this. This kid's tossed 98, 97 mile per hour fastballs. JD steps up to the plate. Okay, what happens? The fastball gets away from him. Fastball gets away from him. Fastball gets away from him. Fastball gets away from him again, and JD gets walked. And you can tell the second that happens, Nate Pearson is immediately in his head. He's a young kid. He's a year older than we are. I can only imagine what it's like to be facing up against an elite hitter like JD Martinez, and then to be throwing stuff and missing every time. And he kind of fell apart after that. But after the first inning, he was getting back to himself. He wasn't pitching at the high velocity that he is known for, but he kept them scoreless.
He said in an interview afterwards, he after that first inning, he kind of lost his command of his fastball. So he kind of started to aiming the pitches. And whenever you start aiming your pitches, you're going to lose velocity because you're not throwing as hard as you can. You're trying to guide the ball. And he said it, but another good thing that he said at the end of his interview was, if he can shut out the Red Sox for another 3 scoreless innings after that, even when he doesn't have his best stuff, that's how he knows he can compete at a major league level.
I think that's the best way for that kid to look. I didn't even know that he said that. I think that's literally the best way for him to look at it because he was very capable, dude. Yeah. And his mediocre stuff, which is what we saw yesterday. Yeah. I hate to say it, but that's what we saw.
Yeah, it was mediocre.
It was definitely mediocre, but you know what? It was still good enough to hold them after that. And when this kid gets his fastball back, which is, on average, a 97, a 98, a 99 can reach into the 100s. We're going to be looking at an elite option. So I would keep my eyes out on when this kid comes up, book the 29th off work, because this guy very well could be the next Roy Halladay for the Blue Jays.
Absolutely. And on that note, let's finish it off with our number 5 spot. And number 5 things to look out for is how Vladdy adjusts to first base, and will that affect his hitting?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I mean, I honestly hope it affects his hitting
in a
positive way. Like I hope that he gets to first base. It's like, yeah, this is no big deal. Step on that bag. No one's getting past me. Catch this, catch that. Now I'm at the plate and I'm smacking because that's what you're made for, bro. Dude. The home run that he hit today. Like it.
We were actually at work watching his at bat, and I don't know if it was the first or second pitch, but it was a curveball out of the zone, swung as hard as he could. And then one of the things that me and Nick look at when Vladdy does that, it's like, he's trying to really force that big play, and we saw a lot of it last year. He's really forcing that. He's chasing, trying to.
He wants to be the guy.
He wants to be the guy, right? But then he calms down. He battled. He ran the count to 3-2, and. Mistake pitcher, I forget who was pitching in. I honestly forget his name. They signed him from Detroit last year.
Fendi?
No.
I don't know.
Whatever. He's not that good. Sorry, Fenway faithful. But he left a hanging breaking ball over the plate that Vladdy absolutely read and destroyed out of the ballpark over the Green Monster.
Yeah, literally, like, and he knew it the second that he hit it. We all knew it the second that he hit it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was beautiful to watch because it really, like, the beginning of that at bat, I was like, no, man. Like, I don't want to see this again. I don't want another ground out. I don't want another strikeout where you're chasing a pitch that's, like, way outside that you're trying to reach. I want to see you. I just want to see some of that power, and he showed how elite that power is, bro. And
his ceiling is so huge. Like if he can be selective, not chase, let the pitcher come to you, look for one pitch, and just nail it. Nail it. Exactly. And then you can become that elite hitter that we always known you can become.
Well, and I think that's what the move to first base it gives him the opportunity to do that, It gives him the opportunity to be like, I don't have to worry about playing third base anymore. All I gotta worry about is that guy on the mound and how I am gonna beat him. And
exactly,
he's capable.
Yeah. Like we can talk about his defense, but honestly, like first base is another hot corner, and his footwork on the bag looked good so far in the summer camp, and. Only thing we have to look for is that batting average and that power and that production numbers. So
I would definitely keep your eyes on the move to first base. What that does for Vladdy Guerrero, our hopes are high.
Yeah. So that is the top 5 things that you, as Blue Jays fans or as MLB fans, got to be looking forward to in the 2020 season.
We got the home ballpark. We got the Ken Giles trade. We got the who's it gonna be pitcher number 5. We got the Nate Pearson debut, and we got the Vladdy Guerrero Jr. move to first base. That's it. That's everything that you got to look for. Nothing else. I'm kidding. There's going to be so many breakouts. We're going to be elite.
There's probably more things that we didn't even think of. Let us know if there's something that we didn't even think of that we should be looking out for. Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, guys. And check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and you can always check us out on our YouTube or Instagram. That Instagram is popping off.
Yeah, we're going to be dropping a trailer today, so you're going to see it on YouTube. You're going to see it on Instagram.
I gotta say, guys, it's cool. It's cool. Hop on the train right now because we're
moving,
taking off.
We're moving. We're taking off forward. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching.
And go Jays, go.